Inflation, shrinkflation, these things are impacting our economy, so how to stretch a dollar is at the forefront of most people's minds right now. But in some parts of the country, that's easier than in others. Take Illinois. The state is mostly known for Chicago. Unfortunately, Chicago is an expensive, high-tax city, and it tends to skew some of the data that people see for the state, like cost of living and crime rates. But Illinois is more than just Chicago, and not every place within the state is expensive or scary. So in this video, let's look at 9 places that won't break the bank while also having low crime. Number 9. Mount Zion. Located in the center of the state, the village of Mount Zion sits near Decatur, making it a good place for people who want easy access to shopping and restaurants but don't want to deal with the crime. Decatur is known for having a higher than average amount of crime, but you won't get that in Mount Zion. Their overall crime rate is 48% below the national average. The chance of becoming a victim is 1 in 82, and Mount Zion is safer than 60% of US cities, so that's one plus to living there. With its location, it's an easy drive to Chicago, St. Louis, and Indianapolis, which is also nice. The other is that it's fairly cheap. The overall cost of living in Mount Zion is 12% below the Illinois average and 14% below the national average. If you break it out by category and take a look at just housing, Mount Zion comes out even better. The housing market is 30% below the national average. Number 8. Beth Alto. Beth Alto is a village of 9,359, according to the most recent estimates. Small towns aren't for everyone, but the village is also located within a 30-minute drive of St. Louis, making it great for people who like to occasionally experience big city amenities but don't want to live in a metro area. The overall cost of living in Beth Alto is 11% lower than the Illinois average and 14% below the national average. The housing costs are even better at 22% below the Illinois average. A typical family home can be purchased on the current market for between $75,000 and $284,900, with the average home value at $140,100. If new construction is more your thing, those start at $330,000 and go up. If you're coming from an area where $1 million won't even get you a starter home, that kind of money can buy you one of the most unique homes I've seen in this area, complete with indoor pool and hot tub. In addition to being cheap, you also don't have to worry as much about safety in this village. There is a 1 in 110 chance of becoming a victim, with Beth Alto being safer than 75% of US cities, and their total crime rate is 61% below the national average. Number 7. Mendota. Typically, cities in the northern third of the state are more expensive, and if they're not, then they have a crime issue. But I found one that goes against the trend. Mendota is located in LaSalle County and has a population of 6,982. It's not quite 2 hours from Chicago by car. It's also a short train ride for those who don't want to deal with parking in the city, so it can be appealing to some people. There's also low crime. Mendota had 60 crimes reported on the last FBI report, so their overall crime rate is 57% below the national average, and the chance of becoming a victim is only 1 in 99. On top of low crime, there's the fact that it's a fairly cheap place to live. The cost of living is 12% below the national average, and housing costs are 40% below the national average. The current housing market ranges from $74,500 to $179,900. One home has 6 bedrooms and is listed for $129,900. There aren't many places where you can find that kind of deal. Number 6. Spring Valley. Another option for those who want to be in the northern part of the state is the small city of Spring Valley. 5,486 people call this place home, and one reason for that is that it's really affordable. The overall cost of living is 17% below the national average and 14% below the Illinois average. Housing costs are 39% lower than the national average. You can get a fixer-upper for $40,000 or a 5-bedroom home for $450,000, but the majority of options fall between $135,000 and $250,000. Another reason people might like this area is the lack of crime. Only 50 crimes were reported on the last FBI report. That makes the chance of becoming a victim at 1 in 104. Spring Valley is safer than 56% of American cities. An interesting feature to Spring Valley is that it sits on the Illinois River. Number 5. Greenville. Jumping back down to the southern third of the state, we have Greenville, a city of 6,507. This is the type of place where you can still find Sears Roebuck catalog homes, which is kind of cool. You can also find a cute 3-bedroom, 2-bath bungalow for only $58,900. In fact, the majority of available homes in the city are priced at less than $178,000. Housing costs in Greenville are 40% below the national average and 35% below the Illinois average. The overall cost of living is 18% below the national average and 15% below the Illinois average. Greenville isn't just cheap, it's also safe. They only reported 5 violent crimes and 41 property crimes on the last crime report. That puts their violent crime rate at 80% below the national average and property crime rate at 69% below the national average. Number 4. Charleston. Charleston is a college town with the Eastern Illinois University campus located in the center of town, so it can be a decent place for those who don't mind the extra traffic during the fall and spring months. With the students coming and going, the population fluctuates, but current estimates put it at 17,347. The selling point for Charleston is the super cheap housing market. It's 43% below the national average. The average home price is $93,500. For those who prefer to rent, the average is $652 per month. The overall cost of living is 11% below the national average. As for crime, the majority of what you see in the city is drug-related. It's mostly people getting picked up for possession. On the last FBI crime report, they reported 31 violent crimes and 84 property crimes, which puts their overall crime rate at 79% below the national average. The chance of becoming a victim is 1 in 174, and Charleston is safer than 74% of U.S. cities. Number 3. Canton. In most places, trying to get a home for under $75,000 can be a bit of a pipe dream, but in Canton, there are several homes available in that price bracket. The housing costs are 48% below the national average. The average home price in this northwestern city of $13,403 is $83,900. If one prefers to rent, the average for that is about $625. Most things are cheaper in Canton than in other areas, with the overall cost of living being 20% below the national average and 17% below the Illinois average. Canton is also relatively safe, with a crime rate that is 47% below the national average. The chance of becoming a victim is 1 in 81, and Canton is safer than 49% of U.S. cities. Number 2. Rock Falls. Rock Falls on the Rock River is another place in the northwestern part of the state where the dollar goes a little bit farther. The overall cost of living is 15% below the national average. They fall below the average cost for most categories, but they're particularly cheap when it comes to housing costs, at 50% below the national average and 45% below the Illinois average. The average purchase price in Rock Falls is $75,500, and the average rent is $666. The 8,724 people who live there also enjoy a low crime rate. The last FBI report only had 7 violent crimes and 79 property crimes listed, giving them an overall crime rate that is 58% below the national average. The chance of becoming a victim is 1 in 102, and Rock Falls is safer than 77% of American cities. Number 1. Chester. Chester is a cute little city in southwestern Illinois that is known for being the hometown of the Popeye creator. They're very proud of that fact, and they have a bunch of Popeye-themed statues scattered throughout town to commemorate his work. If you find yourself in this area, check it out. But that's not all that the town has going for it. There's a very low crime rate for one thing. They only reported 32 crimes on the last report, making their crime rate 83% below the national average. The chance of becoming a victim is only 1 in 258, and Chester is safer than 81% of cities in the US. Chester also has a low cost of living in almost all categories. The one exception is in the category of groceries, where they're right at the national average. Everything else is way cheaper. Housing, for example, is 49% below the US average and 44% below the Illinois average. The average rent is $611, and an average home purchase runs $82,700. An added bonus to all of these towns is that they happen to be eligible for the USDA's Rural Development Program, which allows buyers to purchase a home with less than stellar credit with little or no money down and a low interest rate. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check that out. If you'd like to see more videos on this kind of topic, leave a comment. I can do cheap places in other states if you'd like to see something like that. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, I remain stuck in the cornfield.